Now.
Getting into it.
Getting into it, yeah.
Fucking going. Live, playing the feud. Let's go. What do you got?
What? Oh, the only thing I was going to say is that then, so we need a little update for Germany in general before we lead into this. Is that
this is the context?
Yeah, this is the no. There's a bit of context because
you cannot
plugging it back in.
Yeah.
You cannot correctly enjoy Queer Eye Germany without the prequel, which was
Germany.
Just Germany. I was going to say the Twitter thread in which Radical gets mad at a cartoon mouse.
Yes. Okay. So we have talked about Bild before and Axel Springer, and we have covered on the show as well that I don't remember if it was a bonus because we may have to put everything that we talk about Reichert behind the paywall because I just insulted him all the time.
No, it was a main episode and I was nervous as fuck. And you were just going ham.
That's right. Yeah. So. My favorite,
I don't care.
Yeah, my favorite coked out racist in Germany.
Don't sue me. I do care.
Also,
These are only the opinions.
Well, these are not opinions. This is fact.
Yeah, it's been reported by other people.
Yes.
Which means they're at blame if it turns out to be wrong.
Right. Okay.
I just wanted to seem tough.
I'll bracket everything that Nick's about to say with allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly. Yeah. My favorite alleged coked out racist. I found out what happens when you watch public broadcasting after just a night of doing too much cocaine, and you end up getting in a Twitter fight with a cartoon character.
We've all been there.
Those are my favorite fights.
For those who don't know, who live outside of Germany, there's a wonderful German TV. It's like one part cartoon, other part learning show called Sendung mit der Maus, which is...
You learn a lot.
The show with the mouse.
The show with the mouse, exactly.
It's comparable to like a kind of Sesame Street where there's like segment with the character and then like kind of like here's
learning,
how trees work.
Little like clips of informing you about
how paper's made.
Yeah.
And it always starts with a language, a different language.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Arslok. That's Icelandic. Not for what you think it is.
Should be, but Zen mit der Maus did the noble thing and had an episode covering trans issues for kids because, this is a thing that exists in the real world and it's...
Like the aforementioned trees and paper.
Yes.
Yep.
And so Julian Reichert just went on an absolute rant about how this show is for 4 to 9-year-olds and they're doing trans propaganda, this and that and that. Then the TV show...
So there's children... running down the street in my neighborhood every day, past Bild, and every day there's shit on the front page of Bild that in the United States you have to be maybe 21 plus, if not 18 plus to see. It's literally every day on Bild, it's und today's sexy Frau ist Annalena.
That's fine.
It's
that's free of ideology.
Der Kindermörder aus Sachsen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, page 3 for top slurs. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Or just
top slurs your kids should know and say.
Yes, exactly. That Bild.
It's also impressive he found time to do this in between talking about what people in Munich are real Ukrainian refugees and what people are not real Ukrainian
that was him.
refugees.
That was him the next day.
Yeah,
that was the day later.
That was him the next day.
Well, he's unemployed, so he has nothing to do except sit at home and allegedly do coke and definitely watch TV.
Das ist Deutsch, ist der frechste Arbeitslose or something. Did you see the meme?
Yes.
It's him in front of the gas station.
with the
Bild.
Yeah, so
like a fucking
he then ends up getting into a Mouse ends up responding on Twitter, of course, because why wouldn't Mouse being
so online?
Uncritical support for Comrade Mouse.
Mouse is showing German culture, which is never stop replying.
Yeah.
Even if you don't.
Mouse is 100%
reply guy.
100% a Druckl.
Never let the other person have the last word.
Von Dichter und Denker und Reply Guys.
But so Mouse goes and just hey, inclusivity, we want to, this is something that.
There's about linking the episode, which is kind of cool. This is this is where you find this episode. In the Mediathek.
And then because cocaine is a hell of a drug,
and also saying even grown-ups can still learn something.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Bam!
Dunked on our man, and so then he just ends up getting furious and just starts having, I think it was 4 or 5 more tweets where he's just and then he ends up calling the mouse, the Zwangsmaus, which in German has two meanings.
Excellent.
So one of them would be, as Julia pointed out, the boring one, which is...
Yeah, so like he was saying that because of Zwangsgebühren, so like it's said, which like is the fee that...
You have to pay the public broadcasting.
Yeah, for the public broadcasting, and people that are against it call it a lot of the time Zwangsgebühren, which means like compulsory fee. Yeah.
They don't want to do
that.
And
so Zwangsmaus would be a
compulsory mouse.
I guess.
But then people, because Zwang means forced.
Yeah.
And so people on Twitter started throwing that around, being like, that is what
out to you.
People and people started tagging him, being like, this is what he called the women at Bild.
Oh no.
I know.
My kleine Zwangs.
I know. The kleine Oh my god. I know.
I need to take a shower.
Yeah. But you see,
I need to take the Silkwood shower. I need that big lesbian that like scrubs shit down with a big fucking brush.
This
But for my brain.
Yeah, exactly.
This is an important lesson for all Germans. Like, in this case, Mouse is in the right. He replied with a solid dunk. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
But Julian, you could have stepped away and stopped replying. But no, the German just took over, and you thought, if I just send off 6 more tweets, I'll come out on top of this.
Yeah, and it worked out great.
Stop replying.
Never stop replying. And then he's the double. I mean, it from what it seems like on the internet, my man is doing like. You know, he's doing like
So
he managed. I mean, like as being the big boss himself,
we get sued for libel because it turns out, in fact, he's not doing great.
Damn it! Allegedly,
he's allegedly doing.
He's
great.
allegedly doing great.
Allegedly having a great time.
He allegedly stumbled into just like Scarface levels of cocaine.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, well, yeah. The next day.
Then he was saying that. Then
tried
that
to top it. Yeah. Saying like, well, oh my god, he did this whole fucking like poem about it. Here we go.
There's a poem.
There was a poem. Yeah.
Nerd. Did it top the Bono poem about Ukraine?
When will people outside of Ireland learn? Bono's just like this, and it sucks.
And now, Riverdance.
I'm glad he didn't write a song about it. It's just a poem. So.
And it's on everyone's iPod, and there's no stopping.
You can't get Julian Reichelt's just like poem.
Yeah. It was a very short one.
When
it
Friedrich
was like,
Merz becomes chancellor, Julian Reichelt's poems will just be downloaded onto our phones in the morning into your notes app without being able to stop.
Yeah, you're like a weekly update from Julian Reichelt because he's magically just been like rehired somewhere. Just, you know,
well, he would be like Merz's Pressesprecher.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Oh my god. That would be a great job for him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think.
Yep, and then with the most fun would be that every day, because the Greens would still be in the coalition, because as the Discher-Becker once said about the Greens, there are 3 things: opportunistic, vegetarian, and Protestant. And so they'll still be in the coalition.
3 things I hate.
And exactly. They'll still be in the coalition. And so every day you'll have like Julian Reichelt on stage with like Robert Habeck.
Oh my god.
Yes.
And Kanzler Merz.
Oh no.
Germany 2026.
Oh god. Yeah, so then Reichelt then just like, okay, there's a poem I don't know about.
You didn't know? Okay, it was based on this, like, everyone is doing this, but not Hans. He's doing this.
Oh.
And so the poem was like in German, jeder verteidigt das Land, nur nicht Hans, der, keine Ahnung, flüchtet, keine Ahnung. Yeah, stuff like really bad, like.
Oh, yeah.
Auf Deutsch.
First of all, Hans, what? Like, that's the most Ukrainian thing.
Yeah. Hans the Ukrainian.
Very reassuring. This is one of the most reassuring pieces of public opinion polling I've seen in a long time. They asked people in every European country, would you be willing to take up arms to defend your country? And I think that in Germany it was something like 19%.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Julian Reichelt
All of them
would be the
Julian
first.
Reichelt.
Allegedly the first that would
I think you could say that. He would proudly be like, yes, I would.
Yes, yeah, I know. It's just a Mutmaßung, speculation.
Exactly. No. Then he went full.
Picture,
oh, yeah.
So the picture was a person of color that was talking to
Baerbock.
Baerbock. And so it was a racism that Julian
did a racism,
there.
folks.
Oh, yeah. He just like went all out.
I, for one,
like,
am shocked.
Yeah. I know, right? The head
He's
of...
saying,
in Germany?
Look, this person does not defend Ukraine. It was like probably, I don't know, maybe it was Reichert doesn't even fucking know who that person was.
That's his buddy. He clearly knows he's not from Ukraine. He's like, yeah, my man, Jeff.
Hans, apparently.
Hans. Yeah, Hans is from Ingolstadt, and he doesn't want to defend Ukraine. Actually, he's not Ukrainian. So, but
and even if like everyone should get out, that wants to get out. Like,
yeah, of course.
Honestly, yeah.
We're not talking about that today. The only thing that I want to leave in our brains before we end off into the real topic, which is not a real topic, it's us having fun and letting you know about German media.
I'll make it real.
Is that think about then all the years at BID that Julian Reichert has been there, that they've had to tone him down.
Yeah.
This is the real him. Like, imagine like all like the stuff that then's like happened in between of like, oh yeah, why can't we publish like, you know, the more mega racism than already exists in that publication.
Because speaking of getting real, we finally have Real World circa 2000 Julian Reichelt, when people stop being polite and start getting real.
Exactly, yeah. When you start fighting
I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to win.
I'm here to win the racism.
That's what he says to Sendung mit Mao.
That's what he says to himself in the mirror over the plate of allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly, he has a mirror.
Yes.
Well, no, I'm sure he has a mirror in his bathroom or his house somewhere.
Yeah, I think there's a mirror on the table, allegedly.
Yeah. Oh God.
Allegedly.
I love this country, baby.
So yeah, donate to the Patreon so we have a libel fund for legal fees.
I'm not on this show, so
No. Yeah. You're cleared. Hey. Welcome to your weekly corner Späti. It's myself, Nick, joined with Kieran. Julia.
Okay, what was that?
I forgot what words I was reading. It was either that or I said one of the words I was reading.
Oh, all right. And we got a special guest, Ben Miller from the Bad Gays, because apparently not all gays are nice. I found this out actually only just now.
From the number one homophobic podcast, Bad Gays.
You've been in Berlin this long, you just realized that not all gays are nice?
No, yeah, exactly.
Jesus Christ. Look around you.
No, I refuse to. I live in a bubble.
Everyone's lovely to me. I'm special.
But yeah, so Ben bullied me into. No, I'm just kidding. You said that if I didn't invite you on this episode, it would be homophobia. So
Well, it's true.
Yeah.
It would have been.
No one on the show except for Rob wants to be homophobic.
Yeah, where's Rob?
He's being homophobic.
Yeah, he's doing hate crimes. Can't believe it.
So we invited Ben to sit down. Well, we didn't sit down. We all sat down at home and watched Queer Eye Germany.
Yes.
And we thought that I wasn't actually expecting that we'd be able to do an episode about this. And then after the first episode, I'm like, yeah,
Yes.
baby, we're here.
yes.
This is it. This is perfect.
Oh, there is material.
Yeah.
Content.
So for those who don't know, Queer Eye is, I guess this would be technically the second reboot of a show, because there's the first reboot, which is the US one of the original show, Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. That was like a mid-2000s thing where the idea of metrosexuality came into common vernacular.
I mean, that show was great, though, because... So the whole concept is like blindingly offensive, right? But like
Finally, you have a function.
in any format, it's blindingly offensive. However, I will say this: at least in 2001 or 2 or 3, in the context of like Bush administration, crazy ass fights about gay marriage, and that show was not, for people who don't know it, they only know the sort of U.S. Netflix reboot. That show was not about your feelings. That show was not about helping people. They literally, Bravo producers, and I'm gay, so I can say this. They went into a drag brunch in Hell's Kitchen and were like, "Where are the skinniest, meanest faggots that we can find?" And they were like, "You're wearing mom jeans and you're a slob." But like, it was just, they were just mean.
Yeah.
And it was just gay men being mean to straight people for an hour, and it was wonderful.
Sounds great.
To be fair, I would rather, like, in hindsight, watch that than some of the way too uplifting shit that we get later on. I don't know.
As
The
opposed to proposing like queerness as like the antidote to neoliberalism.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the U.S. show has like been on they're like on their 5th season, 6th season, something like
They went
that.
to
They also went to Japan, yeah.
Yeah, they've had it's definitely like like you said, queerness as an antidote to neoliberalism, feel good of like, oh yes, queen, you can do it.
So wholesome.
Yeah, and every single one of these people that they talk to in the U.S. one, it's like, it's these people who have just been so profoundly failed by every system.
Yeah.
They'll have someone who's like, and she runs an animal shelter, and she's a single mom, and she has a special needs kid, and there's this and that, and like, it's like, you don't need to tell her to like take 10 minutes in the morning to put on moisturizer. She needs like money. And, like, what's actually good about the show is that it's like some nice person gets money. It's like, I'm sure they would love to have all new furniture. Thank you for paying for it.
Like that is the best material benefit, is all the stuff they basically do for you for free.
Exactly.
The only thing I would push back on it being like the antidote to neoliberalism is that it is just neoliberalism again, because it's hyper individualized solution. And you are reaching out to professionals for help. Yeah. Like
that is technocratic.
Yeah, well, it's effectively like,
they're all technocrats.
if you want to do Queer Eye at home, you have to pay the Fab Five.
Yeah.
Like
right.
That's
you
what
pay a decorator.
Yeah.
It's basically all of the services that rich people just have.
Yes.
Yeah.
They have a decorator, they have a stylist, they have a life coach, they have a this, they have a that, and it's just sort of providing that to someone they have a Karamo. My God.
What does he do? Afford fancy food.
So wait a minute.
Especially
so
in the
actually,
US.
I can tell you what he does. Not what he does, but this is not the first German reboot of Queer Eye. RBB, about 2 years ago, did an unlicensed version.
Oh, hell yes.
No.
Hell yes.
Via 4, the number 4, you, because it was the Fab 4, not the Fab 5, because they couldn't
find
get the
a
license.
gay person in Germany.
And that was so it was only in Berlin, and they only did 3 episodes. But
They got a cease and desist.
the Karamo stand-in is like a life coach to the stars. So it's like a life coach type person. So that's what he does. I actually know him a little bit, Sven Rebel.
Oh,
but yeah,
okay.
he's like he'll like go to like a Schlager star's enormous villa in Austria and like teach her to like connect with her inner self.
Yeah. This is the person who's been
For a
cut
job.
off from Julian Reichelt to stop him from posting. Insane
Oh my
shit.
God! It's like it's like
Damn.
Julian Reich, he's like Julian Reichelt's super nanny. I'm on my way.
Basically.
Yeah, so there's now a Netflix I am amazed at the ABB version. I need to watch this.
For you.
I totally need to watch that one as well.
Unfortunately for our Anglophone listeners, there are no subtitles.
I'll go through on vibes alone.
I can simultaneously translate it for you.
Yeah, I'll just have like the headset.
Yeah, Yulia's gonna sit there like you're at the UN.
Exactly.
We'll dress up like it's the UN. You'll wear like a pantsuit.
It'll be
want it
really
in
serious
English
for
or
some
in
reason. Yeah.
I practice my French.
So before we get to the rest of this, do you know that then, speaking of, shows of, gay, like queer gay shows in the U.S. that then tried to come to Germany, are you aware that they tried to do a drag race?
Yes, with Heidi
And-
Klum.
With Heidi Klum.
Yeah, sorry that I
because there's
spoiled
no
that.
other host, and they tried to like drag her up. Like,
Oh my God.
it doesn't
And
work.
people were mad.
Yeah.
The drag queens
Yeah.
were mad. Although I will say this, for anybody who is listening to the show who may be learning German or something, the Germany's
Yes,
Next Top
people at
Model
home.
Yep.
is the most insane. Like, you think that you know America's Next Top Model, and you think you know Heidi Klum as a reality TV show host. Mean German Heidi on Germany's Next Top Model, which is, I kid you not, 3.5 hours long.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is just you must.
I've been watching the
Yeah.
latest season.
It's
so,
just,
yeah.
but the latest season is the one where she tried to be like
nice.
which is a
Oh,
weird
wow.
change. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
weird. Because before Heidi would be like, ha ha ha, you are all fat and ugly. Now you will walk up the side of a building.
Yeah. She's really had to. Yeah, she's got
I hope
this.
you fall off.
If you,
I can't believe Heidi Klum managed
if
to
you
come
want
down
to
to
be
the
a
podcast.
model, you gotta basically risk your life.
Yeah. The thing that's just so like, okay, God, now we're talking about Germany's Next Top Model before we get to the real event.
Oh shit.
The current season of it, she's all like, yeah, diversity, like, that whole thing. And it's just so funny because Heidi, like, there are no other hosts that can host a show in Germany. Like, you have.
It's just Heidi.
It's just her. So they can't, like, she's been so canceled like at least 6 or 7 times for just like
Yeah.
her horrible behavior
She's
with the
still
show.
doing it.
And they just have to like Germany, you can easily brush over it. And so now they're just like, oh my God, wow, Heidi, du bist so wunderbar. I think what you're doing with diversity is just so great.
Oh my
and it's
God.
like last season she was calling all these women fat pigs.
Yeah, basically.
Come on. I love it. I love her. I love
Just
this country.
imagine being the person. The Fab Five that I want to see are the Fab Five who had to go teach Heidi Klum about non-binary people. The cameras on that I would watch for hours.
That's a whole season.
Yeah. It's a 7-piece Netflix special of like
That's season 2 as
the
well.
gender whisperer. Yeah. So Germany's attempt of rebooting the Netflix version of the American show is the most German thing I think I've seen as of late.
For anyone, I guess for anyone who's confused, because I think this will come up later, because Ben added some great stuff in the notes. That like this is licensed by the Queer Eye reboot that happened on Netflix has now licensed a new.
Yes, this is official Queer Eye.
Yeah,
and it's on Netflix.
Yeah,
and you can watch it, and you can even watch it in America with subtitles.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not your back alley bootleg Queer Eye that you were getting on Airbnb.
It's like 95% Queer Eye, but the 5% fentanyl gets you.
Yes, yeah. Like sure, but Nick's right. It's very German. I have some complaints about the show in general, but should we perhaps just begin with introduce the Fab Fünf?
Yes.
I never heard them say Fab Fünf once.
No, they just say defabs.
Yeah, I heard defabs. I also heard defabbing, but which was like
Defabben.
defabbing. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
Defabs. Okay, so. First, we have what I've been referring to as house, because I just refer to them by what they do.
Oh yeah,
We're starting with the best,
Ion,
the treat.
King.
I forgot.
Hello, Ion.
Okay.
Beautiful man.
In
Beautiful.
In the Netflix American and US Queer Eye, I've forgotten the name
Bobby.
of the one with the long hair.
No, Jonathan Van Ness.
Jonathan Van Ness. Because the other impression I got was that all 5 of these guys, 5 from the Fabs, were trying to be like, I'm going to be the German Jonathan Van Ness. I also got the impression they were trying to like copy his mannerisms and stuff.
I don't think so.
All
I think
say all 5 of these folks.
There.
Folks, you're right.
Yes.
Also,
With an X.
This is the show. This is the episode where I get cancelled. It's just gonna happen.
Live on air by Ben Miller.
We can put this behind the paywall. That's good content.
Kieran has now left the show to become the new head of bid.
But yeah, I get the impression that a lot of them were like trying to copy Jonathan's vibe.
Well, because he became the breakout star of that one, and he got his own show, and he got
his
although
podcast.
I will say this: the one who does to go back to
Sorry.
to go back to Ion for a second. Beautiful Ion.
That is true.
The one who does the house, I think, always comes across the best in some way because they actually like it. Doesn't like any person who isn't rich. If someone shows up at your house and like fixes it and buys you new shit, it's nice.
Yeah.
And also that person is the one who actually does all of the what's the word I'm looking for? Work.
Yeah.
Like it's one thing to be like, I'll go shopping with you for 2 hours, or like we're gonna like climb up some fucked up telephone tower and like talk about how
go to see some alpaca.
Conquering conquering our fears. And this person's like, I'm gonna like put in a kitchen and put in a this and like redo the walls and put in drywall. And
it's amazing that in the last episode where like one of the things Ian does is just makes the sink work, and that man squealed with delight that his sink in his kitchen now works.
To be fair, if Ian came to my house and
Did
made
the
my
most
sink
basic-
work, I would also squeal with delight.
All right, I take a new sink.
The reason I brought up the whole
Yulia, there's something fucked up with her. We don't know what it is. We need the Fab Five to fix her. Ion, come to Yulia's house.
Please come to my house. Yes, I
We'll
need
make
a new
up a
floor.
story.
I have like mold in the bathroom. My sink is...
Yeah, can I come over when Ion's working?
he put a podcast studio in your house. You just be like, I have a podcast.
What is it now? Pimp My Ride? Yo, we heard the
Podcast in my
It
head.
is. It's less weird masculine overtones. Pimp My Ride.
Yeah. So yeah,
I have
Ion
2
does.
kids, so please give me a popcorn
Pimp my
machine
ride with
in my
weird
van.
non-binary overtones.
Okay,
The reason
so,
I brought up the Jonathan Van Ness though, because I feel like Ian won in terms of like having the sparkly attitude and being probably the most charismatic. Yes, he is gorgeous. in
Yes.
so many ways. But like, yeah.
He is extremely, extremely, extremely pretty.
Yes. but like in a way that is like, he's also, I feel like, the most charismatic. Which
by
I
far.
For sure.
Yeah.
Which I can't say about the like the American House. I've forgotten his name.
I like Bobby.
name is Bob-
No, Bobby's great.
Bobby
Bobby's-
is totally great.
Bobby's nice, but like I don't
No.
get the impression.
No, Bobby has this whole story about like growing up in a like Christian
Yeah.
church and shit like that, and having to fight.
But I was just saying he doesn't have the like. I see Jonathan Van Ness and I'm like, that's a show person.
Like of the US Fab Five, clearly the best two are Bobby and Tan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Because
Yeah.
I have a theory about this. The ones who work the most are the best. Simply put, because I don't have to like make up something in my mind of like, what do they do? There's
Also, Tan, unlike the clothing person on this one, picks
good outfit.
good
outfits,
clothing.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
so-
we'll get
We
to
love Tan.
We'll
yeah,
get to
so
this.
the thing that, and I think that this theory of mine goes very well with this one as well. Like, okay, while I don't dislike anyone on this show, it very much is in the sense of exactly like I can see the product of this labor that's happening, and I don't need to be like, all right, why are like you're just doing vibes, and I'm confused, and I kind of don't like that because then I'm internalizing the politics of the show,
Yeah.
and I don't like that either.
Which leads us to the next.
We're not even through the
The
introduction
vibe
of the
specialist.
The vibe
Yeah.
specialist, yes. It's also weird that this list is ranked in order of me finding them attractive, because it is definitely Ian first and then Lenny, who they are the vibes, as Nick puts it. I usually refer to this member of the Fab Five as chats.
Life coach.
Life coach,
Life
yeah.
coach,
Feelings.
I guess. I know. I need one
Vibes.
word. I need one word. House, hair, chats. So yeah,
Feels.
feels.
Lainey is lovely. I really like their vibe. I like that they do the pep talks.
I fancy them.
Yeah.
They're great. It's the problem of though that I'm genuinely confused of that again. I like you'll have some less in this one, and we'll get to it with the food and the fashion.
Oh my God.
There is like
There are bow ties and Zoya granulat frikadellen in our future.
yeah. There is this sense of that, like, the thing that I find is very German about this is that, and we'll get this with the contestants, is that then Lainey just, like, goes about this in the most, like, I'm going to give you a hug, or we're going to climb the spire that you met. It's like, I don't fully, at least, like, Komaro can, like, fake it a bit. Like, Komaro's like a professional, like, life coach thing, right? I mean, maybe Lainey is too. I don't know what their entire background is, but I found them the like least convincing of all the
There's
Fabs.
this, like one scene on the longboards, and then Lenny is like balancing on this wall, and tells the girl also to like balance on the wall. Is woo? Isn't this fun?
I mean, I think Lainey is a
So
life coach.
cool.
I think Lainey does this kind of work. The one thing I will say that Lainey handles really well is this one episode, which is about this very, very kind of tragic, adorable,
Incredibly tragic.
little gay
Oh, no,
football
sorry. Yeah.
coach. Oh no, not I'm
No,
not
no,
like
that
no.
one-
I wouldn't be being like not about the girl who's like all her entire family
No,
died of
we'll get to
horrible
that.
Someone that's
diseases.
the one
Like,
that balances
I'm
on
not
the
a
wall.
horrible
Yeah,
person.
yeah, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
No, you're,
I wanna make it
you're
clear
talking
that-
about Hagen.
I'm talking about Hagen. I'm talking
Yeah.
about this like really like lovely, sweet kid with the world's worst haircut. Oh my god.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah,
want to
yeah.
attack him with scissors, and then finally David did, and it's like, oh, you're like human. But
Yeah.
the he's it's like young kid, lives with his parents, is a Fußballtrainer, like a football coach for like a local league, and
That was the
hasn't come out
conflict,
yet
yeah.
to anyone. And the way that Lainey dealt with like getting him to finally fucking come out was
Yeah.
really
True.
actually nicely done, and I like props for that because they brought a professional Fußballtrainer from like a bigger group or like an actual pro team who was also gay, and who they had the conversation about how it like worked and and he like gave good advice. It was actually really well handled and really like
Yeah.
sweet and lovely. And,
Yeah, true.
And
the
I
guy
think
looked exactly like him.
I know.
I guess the conflict being, for anyone who doesn't understand, is that like German football is seen as this incredibly heterosexual space, and
Is seen
Every
as?
kind of football. Every kind of football. Not only German.
I think for me the divide between I think the central like conflict between, I've forgotten again the name of the Chats guy from
Karamo.
Karomo.
I said his name wrong.
So the difference between comparing Karomo to Laney is that like I don't think he will ever out American at being a life coach. It's a fundamentally bullshit American job.
Oh
It
yeah,
is.
I love how
We
they
are the
like.
country of Oprah, baby.
Yeah.
This is a CEO at me kind of fucking job.
So yeah, Laney. They're the thing about this show is that there's only one person who I just genuinely don't like on it. The rest of them are either great or they're good, and they seem genuinely nice. I don't have like a problem with them. But who's next on the list is Alyosha, right?
Alyosha, yeah.
Oh, this queen. Oh my God. Her.
Yeah, Alyosha.
Okay, to be clear, that's a gay her. Alyosha is he, him.
Ben's allowed to say it.
It's
Yeah.
fitness and
I'm not
food.
allowed to say the feminine pronoun.
Again, I was I mean, all right.
Leave it to fucking Germany.
Yeah.
This Protestant country. Every other Queer Eye, it's the food person. And it's all about like food and like taste and joy. And here it's nutrition.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh my God.
and this people, so there's a meme about the American Queer Eye, which is that Anthony, who is the very pretty, very sad,
Love Anthony.
like sort of puppy-eyed, enormous bicep food guy on US Queer Eye, can't cook. If Anthony can't cook, this person can't open a fucking can of soup. I mean, on one of the episodes, he teaches someone how to Nordic walk. On one of the episodes, he literally buys pre-cut vegetables and dips them into pre-purchased things of hummus and like other dips. On another one of the episodes, there's someone whose favorite recipe is Frikadellen, which are these German meatballs, and he makes soya granulat, soy protein frikadellen, which they then eat without anything on them. No mustard, no mayonnaise, no bread, no roll. No, it's just it's
not to diminish your point. I just want to say that like when they came at him with the frikadellen, he was like, "So I saw you eating frikadellen." And he was like, "Yeah." It really kind of seemed like I mentioned bees to my grandmother once, and now she just thinks I'm all about bees, kind of thing.
No, for sure.
Because I don't think he was that into frikadellen. I think he was just
For
eating
sure.
them at the time.
Oh, and then
No.
also the other,
They opened
the
it- they
other
opened the
sin, the other
fridge.
great sin of Alyosha, which is also the sin of cookery in this country, is he's like, if you don't know what spices to use, just sprinkle powdered vegetable broth over the top of it. Which,
Yeah.
speaking as someone who cooks, no. Every time
Yeah, I
Alyosha
can
came on
imagine-
screen, I became the like Italian mad at food meme.
Yeah.
And the first thing they make is pasta, and that fucked up thing with that you don't even boil that, you don't even
Oh,
do it
yeah, the one
separately. It's like
pot,
with the
yeah.
one pot with the
The one pot pasta.
Yeah.
I've done a one pot before. It comes out quite wet. Like it really just comes out very
the
wet.
wettest pasta
Madonna.
you've ever seen.
Madonna.
Yo,
Madai.
And it's not. It's,
Kieran the Irish cooking Italian food. Oh.
yeah. We didn't get coffee until the 90s. Leave us alone.
Yeah.
And this is a country, that
Key
actually makes fish stick pizza, and somehow
Yes.
Yeah. Which is
Alyosha's
great.
pasta was a bigger insult to the nation of
Yeah.
Italy
No, because
than the fish stick pizza.
I've said
We
I've,
also make chocolate pizza.
yes, I've said it before that I've said it before, but the culinary height of this country is like the 14-year-old you hung out with when you were 14. because like he was the only one in the neighborhood who had the TV connected to the PlayStation in his bedroom, and his bedroom was always just covered in rubbish, like
Yeah.
McDonald's wrappers and shit. But
Yes.
like that's the guy who comes up with putting fish sticks on pizza. Or wouldn't it be wild if there wasn't a chocolate pizza? Like that's German cuisine. That's what the Fab Fun for food should have been. It's just like a 14-year-old
Stoned 14-year-old straight man.
yeah, in like the most ill-fitted hoodie.
Yeah.
Like caring about nutrition, okay?
The other,
yeah.
the
Caring
other thing about
nutrition, this one.
Alyosha is that, and this is something
You made the
that-
chocolate pizza with carrot.
it's like a weird flashback to 2004 original Queer Eye for the Straight Guy thing, is that like the degree to which, because it's something that they're really careful on Reboot Queer Eye to never, like, they never comment on anyone's body. They never go there. And meanwhile, Alyosha is just like fat shaming these people.
Oh, yeah.
And like telling them like
to
this
Germany.
one person, like the largest person who's on the show is the person where he doesn't even do anything with cooking. He's like, actually, for nutrition, we're going to talk about exercise.
Nordic walking.
And-
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
they didn't make anything in that
No,
episode.
they made nothing on that episode. They just did Nordic walking. And it was
And
just
then
it
the
was
husband the
awful.
entire time was like, "Yeah, you are like you do look like shit." Like that
the
was
hell?
the most that was
Oh,
the
no,
most
that's
the one that
upsetting
did
thing.
on
is
that episode, so
the
it's this
cologne
woman-
episode.
Yeah.
That episode. Let's go there. It's
Wait,
this
wait, wait.
very, very
But
nice
we
woman.
we didn't
should
finish
get
the-
through the fabs.
Okay,
We're getting
before
through the
the
fast
fab.
before we go there.
Okay, Jan-Hendrick. Oh my god.
Oh, all right.
Oh,
we have to do
Jesus Christ.
The
Jan
worst
Hendrick,
dressed.
I think Jan Hendrick.
Fashion expert.
Yeah, Jan Hendrick should be sharing a cell with some like Serbian war criminal for what?
So Jan-Hendrick
I think
feels-
if you wear a bow tie and bootcut jeans anywhere together, I think that you should be on the receiving end of the fashion advice.
Well, Jan-Hendrick feels a bit like a dandy. As
Calls himself
Jan-Hendrick
a
told
dandy.
us.
He irons his underwear, he informs
Yeah.
Oh
us.
damn!
Yes,
Seriously?
which
He
I missed that
probably,
one.
if he could, would make clothes out of people. Like, yes,
allegedly.
allegedly.
Yes, fetch me more special letter.
Yeah, like it is like Jan Hendrick is literally like a caricature of how you would imagine a German. I don't even know what he is. Like I
From the
can't.
He's a
1920s?
background character in Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah, but he's evil. He's somehow
He
evil,
has
and I
this,
don't
like, he has
know
this
how.
little
Yeah, it's
mustache.
Pencil mustache, yeah.
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 This little pencil mustache and this sort of lacquered, undercut, swoopy hair thing,
Yeah.
and
Is that
wears a bow tie
1920s?
all the time. And
Lumberton,
I think
yeah.
every single person he manages to put them in worse clothes.
Yeah,
It's like, oh my God, put
Yep.
your sad gray sweater back on. It was better. It wasn't this
Gotta
one.
say.
There's this one guy.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, and now this is something that you will wear to a festival.
Oh my god! I just wanted to mention
This
that.
guy
the
comes
worst.
out wearing cargo shorts,
Yes.
a pink button-down shirt
Matching
with like
colored
rolled-up
shoes.
cuffs, matching colored shoes, and a straw
Yep.
boater hat.
yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Ben,
This
I
is
don't know if you noticed.
But I gotta say one thing. This is every straight guy at a festival
Yeah,
in Germany.
exactly.
But I
Yeah.
think wasn't that was the gay
That was-
one?
yeah,
That was the gay one. I'm like,
So
I
we
know how
made him
gay men dress
straight.
at festivals, and it's not that girl.
We made him
I'll
straight.
take you to the Adidas
Ben.
shop. I'll take you to Humana,
It was like,
please.
nobody would
Call me,
notice.
you're
no.
nice.
So I heard you didn't come out yet, so nobody would notice.
And then it comes out the next episode, so it's just like, but they have to like go back and like,
Okay, then you
this
can
is the
throw away the
on-ramp.
yeah. Oh god.
I don't know if you noticed, but in the last episode, when we get to the guy's remodeled house, on a hook just inside the door is the straw boater hat again. They don't ever like draw
No.
attention to it, but there's like 3 hats on 3 different hooks.
Oh,
Just in
no.
the doorway, the straw hat's back, and I was like, there it
Yeah.
is.
Jan Hendrick gives you the vibe of someone where the CDU does have the means of creating a child who is also simultaneously a 70-year-old man.
Yes.
The CDU also has the ability to like, time travel. And they
I wonder if Jan-Hendrick is in that like Lesbe-Schwule Union, the
What?
LSU.
either that or FDP. Like
Yeah, the bow tie.
yeah. I feel like I get the feeling that then Jan Hendrick was like again, allegedly was gonna be like tried as a war criminal, and then they like found him as a few 50, 60, 70 years ago, and then found a time machine,
Yeah.
made it into the future.
We did time traveling Operation Paperclip.
Exactly.
We got
Like,
entrance.
and then he just like happened to stumble into it, and there's just like, all right, like you need a new identity, fashionista, and he's like, oh man, okay, cool.
I also
And-
just 1 minute. I realized something about we didn't mention. I mean, I always want to be talking about Ion, but there's
We all
something
wanna talk about
important
Ion.
that we forgot about our beautiful,
He's so
wonderful
gorgeous.
Ion. There is a moment on this show where Ion appears on screen in a cafe,
Yes.
Yeah.
which, for anyone who doesn't know how crazy Germany can be about any politics which acknowledge that Palestinians exist and are humans, that is like a move.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was
that is
impressed.
Yeah,
definitely-
for anyone who, because you didn't mention it, Ian is Turkish German.
Yeah.
Yeah. The so the only thing I really want to say about Jan-Hendrick, Mainly because I'm not a fashion person. I didn't really. It's all neutral to me. I didn't.
You're
notice.
fine. You're doing fine.
Yeah, I'm doing
You
great.
Great job.
Jan-Hendrick would come and would ruin you.
I like these shoes.
Okay,
these
the shoe. Yeah, the
were
shoes.
€14.
The shoes. Whatever.
You
Jan-Hendrick-
didn't have to tell me that.
No, I did.
Yeah, Jan-Hendrick would
I
take
knew.
those shoes and he would have them match your brown colored shirt, and you'd
Yeah.
be confused and you
It's
wouldn't
not
like
brown,
it.
it's an
So the only
Brown.
thing
Orange.
this is going to require a bit of prep. I come from a part of Ireland that celebrates something very particular, which is a thing called Bloomsday. If anyone doesn't know what that is the festival where people celebrate James Joyce and Ulysses, because
Yeah.
I was in the town where that was written. And
Stately, plump, bunk, elegant, etc.
exactly, and they recreate the trip that that's made in Ulysses and stuff like that through Dublin, etc. And that ends in the town that I grew up in. So the thing that I wanted to get to though is everyone on that holiday dresses like Jan-Hendrick in like the dandy thing, and it's a lot of like PTSD flashbacks of like my friends' drunk parents hitting on me. While dressed like this, while I was a teenager.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's not great because there's like all wine drunk in the middle of the day. It's there's a little bit of very specific Irish lore, South Dublin bullshit.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that got weird. Anyway, back to bad outfits.
Oh my god.
But
Now I feel bad for making fun of your shoes. I didn't know this was going to be like. Do you need Karamo or
I have such a crush on
Lenny
Lenny.
to come
Lenny.
and like
Lenny, yes.
hold your
Yeah.
hand and talk you through it?
Maybe
Maybe
I had
if
a
you can-
lady I have crushes on. The rest I could kind of leave.
All right, and then we have
David.
David,
who
hair and makeup.
She is the hair and makeup
yes.
Yes.
person. She is tattooed. She is be-nailed. She is be-quarter-inch banged.
She's
She's Berlin.
Berlin baby.
Extremely Berlin.
Yes.
To the point where she looks
She
like
is what-
Ollie Sykes at some point.
She
It
is-
really bugs me.
She is what people who from other parts of Germany that hate Berlin think everyone in
Yeah.
Berlin is
Yeah,
like.
but
Yes.
she's nice.
Yeah.
But there
She's-
are,
lovely,
you
yeah.
do see people who look like David at like 4 a.m. on Monday morning on the part of the Berghain dance floor that's next to the stairs you go up to get the ice cream. Like that's the sort of, that's the natural home of the David and
never
crew.
go to the ice cream
Yeah.
place if I went to Berghain.
Yeah, there's ice cream and bananas at
Yeah.
I don't want
Berghain.
bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you need some
Healthful
magnesium
shakes.
and some, yeah, exactly.
But
But enough about last weekend.
Let's go.
David, she I think also is very realistic with her like not even like real like transformations of people. I think that she's the one who kind of goes about and is pretty like down to earth with like how people interact with hair, makeup, and stuff like that.
Yes.
You know, so
And she gives a good haircut.
yeah,
Yeah.
All of the haircuts are a massive improvement.
yeah.
It's like, especially that bowl cut, that tragic bowl cut gay.
Though,
And I'm like, oh, you look like you have an actual head. under all of that.
The one she gave to, I forgot her name, Maureen, the very tragic girl,
Yeah.
was very minimal but actually very transformative.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
very,
Yeah.
it was
Just
very
like-
And
good.
she was
Yeah.
very realistic with the sense of that. Then it's like, hey, you're like busy. Here's at least
Yeah,
like
and
a
listen
couple
to
of
her
things.
because
of-
she said like she doesn't want to wear so much makeup and stuff like that. And
yeah,
then,
and I feel
so-
Jonathan doesn't do that well. Actually, being very honest, Jonathan's a little bit too little overdoes it a little bit too much, and like makes it like even when it's like it's simple. It's just like it's a
So
I don't
here's
know.
your 5-step morning routine.
exact like yeah, and it'll be like a dude who will just like had finally like got their like beard trim for the first time in their life, and it's like I don't like I know that this guy can't do this. Like
So
he's
then
gonna overwhelmed.
the important thing is you need to wait 7 minutes between the first serum and the second
Yeah.
serum.
Yeah.
But between the second serum and the moisturizer, 11 minutes.
yeah, it's super easy. You'll remember.
It's fine. And then
Yeah.
you take the jade roller. And
and then you make it to your first of 3 jobs.
Yeah, exactly.
That's America.
Very good, baby.
proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah, the 5 except for Jan-Hendrick.
Yeah.
I'm fine with, you know, Jan-Hendrick. Again, like I said, there's the Hague is great this time of year, my guy. Yeah, the thing though that like we're not gonna go episode by episode because I think that then we've covered at least a bit of the sillies.
Yeah.
There's just like the thing that I always found that then was very interesting, and Yulia can back me up because Yulia is from the part of the country where like half these episodes take place in.
Yes.
And they found
We all need help.
Yes, everyone in NFA needs help beyond belief. But the thing, at least to me, that was very striking of that, they have the locations where one of them was Cologne, so Cologne, which
I have
is
them in
like
order here.
all right, yeah,
Oldenburg, Cologne, Hagen, Kiel, Heinsberg.
Hagen.
Hagen,
yeah.
sorry.
So
And Heinsberg.
So it wasn't Hagen, wasn't it? No, where was it?
it was Hagen.
Yeah, it was
yes.
Hagen, yeah.
So
Hagen was the bowl cook game.
yes.
Yeah.
So the thing that's really interesting with the locations in NFA and North Rhine-Westphalia,
Which is 3 of 5 of them.
yes, because they're very NFA pilled. Is that they're one of the like most economically horrible places in Germany. Hagen
Yeah,
being
it's all
probably
in
one
the
of them.
Ruhrgebiet.
Yeah,
it's all in
exactly.
it's all in the Ruhrpott.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that is a part, of this country. First of all, the most populous state of Germany.
Yulia says this while just like pumping her face.
We fucked the most.
we fucked the most.
We were fucked the most / bombed the less.
Which is about also due to industry being there, or former industry being there. And with saying former industry, there's a lot of coal mining going on. There's a lot of old energies that sound now like Middle Earth, but and a lot of unemployment as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this
A lot of working class as well.
This actually kind of leads me into one of the complaints I have with this version versus the American version.
Yes.
Which is the American version also serves as a kind of nice little travel show type thing where each season is like, we're in Georgia, we're in Texas, and we're like based in Austin, but we're
in Georgia with Saakashvili.
with Saakashvili, learning about how the Abkhazs are a type of dog.
Oh god, I cannot imagine. This show could not go any further
Eye
east than
Georgia.
Germany.
We're in Sachsen.
That's the thing, though. Is that I was waiting for that episode.
They're
I was
not
waiting.
going there
No,
because they can't
can't.
right
Yeah.
now.
No,
They
this-
didn't
this-
learn enough now.
This is
yet.
the thing. This is why
Here we are in Chemnitz.
It's like,
Here's-
wait, why didn't you come out?
Hang on.
Holger,
Let
you
us-
like
let us-
going
yeah, sorry,
to the
yeah.
Monday marches? You know, could you not?
Okay, sorry. Carry on.
But like that's what I quite liked about your Square Eye, because it was like they do a whole season. We're in Texas, and the whole kind of like you get to explore the city or state or area a bit more. It tried to show you that like, because that's the whole point. Like if this was doing exactly what US version would, it would have started in Saxon, because it started in the American South, the supposedly most homophobic part of the country.
Which, by the way, for all of the shit that we talk about Sachsen, in like Donald Trump got as many votes in my liberal home state of Massachusetts as like more than the AfD gets in Sachsen.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
it's actually like, you know,
No comment to my state. My state's very bad.
But like I think this is the point, because that's actually one of the like what weirdly unremarked upon parts of the last episode is like the guy is probably like the liberal mean stereotype caricature of what I'd imagine a good German liberal thinks a homophobe looks like.
Yeah.
And he's nominated by his like lesbian gardening friends, who he was like a pivotal part in their wedding and stuff. So it was like there's
That's
a lot
kinda cool.
not being said here. But yeah, I
I
think
wanted to spin off about the lesbian gardening friends.
I do as well, yes. But the they never mention once where the Queer Eye headquarters is.
It's in Cologne.
You had but you
Yeah.
only had to recognize the Cologne
Yeah.
skyline to know that was the case. You had to see the T-Mobile tower and stuff. Like
That's the Austin of North Rhine-Westphalia.
The what? The Austin. I mean, I don't know what you mean by this, but sure, whatever.
It's actually known as a music city. So
it is.
So is Hannover, and that means nothing.
Cologne is the only place other than Berlin in Germany that I would ever live.
See?
So like it's
See?
you know.
No, you don't. No. I've been there too many times. But so yeah, like
They have nice gays there.
they do. I've heard this. But this is the thing. Like there was no city as a part of the whole like.
No, it wasn't based in one place. They were constantly moving around, and then they never really commented on the fact that they were in the Ruhrpott. And then it's also funny because the if so much of the U.S. show is like queerness compensates for complete state failure through
And our basic place
Netflix
to
money, through Netflix money.
Yeah.
Like it's like people who work 3 jobs and run an animal shelter out of their backyard and have no time and whatever. And like, fine, they get a lesson about how to put on their moisturizer, and Karamo tells them to like, take 5 minutes in the morning to meditate. But really what they're getting is like shit they couldn't afford.
Yeah.
And in Germany, where state failure is not maybe yet at that point, but maybe that's where we're headed. It was interesting to see that they like
FDP.
immediately
More votes next election.
They immediately gravitated towards this part of Germany that has the most kind of instability and the most kind of, and then the
Without having to go to the east.
without having to go to the east, which I thought was also really interesting. Did they ever go to the east? I don't think they did.
Well, no, because everything was also in driving relative like decent.
driving distance of
Cologne.
distance of Köln,
Yeah.
which means so it's. I almost wish they had said like we're in Köln, and then they could have. Then it would have been like the same.
This
distance
season
from all
would
of
have
those.
could have been the NRV season, and then
Right.
there was a
And then
Schleswig-Holstein episode
this
season
season-
where like this guy's a Dane.
We're not going to book Vorpommern episode
We're
special
in Berlin,
guest,
where it's
Angela
like
Merkel.
3 really fun episodes and 3 really tough episodes.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot to be said about that. Like, I feel like you need to pace your Maureen's. Like, I feel like every episode this season of the 5 episodes had like a real big tragedy, kind of like okay, Maureen blows them all out of the water.
We have to mention that Maureen literally is the girl whose entire family died because of like a
Yeah,
genetic
that was-
ailment.
That
Yeah.
like she came from a family of 5 where her 2 brothers die, her mom dies of cancer, and her dad dies, and she's the last one basically to also have this ailment, but they're the only one they caught it basically, and were able to help her, if I understand correctly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she's going to be fine.
Yeah.
She can expect a normal lifespan, I think.
She's immunocompromised though. She has to take a lot of medication and stuff. But
but she's
She's
treated,
compromised because of an
Heart
organ.
transplant.
Yeah,
a heart
Yeah.
transplant. But
Yeah.
no, it's unbelievable.
it was and she's 18.
And
Yeah.
she's 18.
So, yeah.
Again, German TV loves finding the biggest sob story you can. Like that was the thing
How
too, is
they
that there's
find that person?
the
There's
two,
only one
the
person
two
like
genders
that.
of German TV are good vibes or hell.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
there is nothing in between, because in Germany there's like this really funny, just like, I mean, for those who don't watch daytime German television, it's either stuff like like Germany's Next Top Model stuff. I mean, that's not daytime, or like Shopping Queen, just like ha ha ha, we're all having fun.
Murder on the Rhine.
Or it's literally like TV shows that then are like the best of the daytime ones that then is like Polizei Alarm, and it's just like, oh, my 13-year-old's doing methamphetamine, please arrest them. Like,
Yeah, it's
But you even see that on the news. You even see that on Tagesschau.
Yeah.
Like story 1 is like, nuclear war between the United States and Russia is imminent. And then 5 minutes into the broadcast, it's like, we found a new kind of turtle in the South Atlantic that only
cute turtle
eats, that only eats cupcakes.
yeah.
so like
Here's the turtle eating cupcakes.
So I think a problem with the pacing of this show is that like there were no just basic schlubs. Like
No, yeah.
I feel like there's like occasionally in American Queer Eye there would be like, this guy has one job, his wife has a job, they're able to provide, but they also just had like 3 kids and things just kind of like got away from them. Like there's at least one per season where like their life isn't a complete fucking mess. They just need someone to come in, take the time and do this.
Well, that was Ulrike and her horrible husband, right?
God, yeah. God.
That was still too tragic though. I
Well,
feel
it was
like.
tragic because of her awful fucking husband.
Yeah.
Sorry, just to clarify, Ulrike is this woman, and it's like, oh, the joy came out of her life, and
No.
she needs this and she needs that, and she
I'm sorry,
works,
the husband needed
she works
far more of a makeover than
oh
she
yes,
did.
the husband is an absolute fucking slob, and then. Yeah, she's like, she doesn't have time to do this, she doesn't have time to do that. She works 2. She's like, yeah, I work 2 jobs, and then I do all of the cooking and all of the cleaning and all of this and all of that. And it's like,
Damn.
and then and they're like, so here's how you can take 10 minutes in the morning to put your moisturizer. It's like, why don't you tell her horrible fucking husband to do the
Yo,
dishes?
Marcus,
Like,
Yeah.
you've heard of the double shift. Now get ready for the triple shift. You have 2 jobs.
it's like that Je telephone alla Edward Said meme, but Je telephone alla Sylvia Federici.
But it's that was the Cologne episode. But like I feel like everything had something. Like you're right, that was there was a terrible kind of family dynamic there. the guy in Hagen, it was just like, it couldn't just be he was like a gay guy. It was like, also the big thing here is he hasn't come out to anyone. And I was like, that's fair. Like, I'm not saying don't do the story. It's just like, give me a break. Like, every season of US Queer Eye also has this season where they're like, we went into the local fire station and we like made up the fire station, like the community service.
that episode's so good.
That is a cool one,
Yes.
But like, which can only happen because they've like tied themselves into the state of Georgia and they're getting like weird tax benefits from them.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sachsen-Anhalt, where are you?
gotta say they have a way higher budget than the German show. If you see the remodeling, a lot of the houses and shit like that.
Is that why they went
Also,
to
American
Hague?
houses
lot-
are bigger.
Yeah, but also use a lot of the furniture that was there before, or like actually items that were in the house before. Not like buying a lot of stuff.
The animal shelter one in the most recent US Queer Eye where they built a whole fucking
Was the animal shelter
barn.
one's real?
Yes. No, she had like 30 animals in her like backyard, and then she used the
Watch that
animals
one,
to
yeah.
have a school for. It was like a school where special needs kids come and do animal therapy.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
she didn't have a barn, so like every time it rained, they would have to like bring these fucking like donkeys into their living room, and then they just built her a barn, and this woman was like crying, and it's like because she's like doing work on behalf of special needs kids that like the state should be paying for, and
Yeah.
she's just been doing it on her like spare time, like.
Yeah. I still feel like that's the kind of thing you could have had in this show if you like just tied yourself to an area.
Yeah.
And said this season we're in like the Rhine-Ruhr area or whatever.
But then they would also have to know about the area, and I have the feeling that they don't. So
Exactly.
like, about a lot of like
But they
issues,
should have a production team.
economic.
Well, there was the one
backgrounds,
time they were
etc.
like going to one of these Ruhrpott places, and one of them was like, "Oh, it's such a like sexy industrial vibe."
Yes, that was the Hagen
Exactly.
episode. That was so fun.
Oh
And I
my
think
god!
I think that's like
it's
a.
so
I love
sexy,
the
it's
rust
so
everywhere.
Sexy and industrial when like factories close
like
and people are on
Hagen is
much
like-
fear.
Unemployment.
Yeah,
So
Hagen is
sexy.
where like
Yeah.
I mean like you like get off in order to go to where you live, where you're from.
Julia.
Julia, sorry.
Yeah.
Not me, no.
No. Like in order to get to Julia's part of Germany,
Yeah,
Hagen's a
that's
place that's just like literally just a stop, and
Yeah,
you get off,
you
and it's
switch.
miserable.
Yeah.
And I think that this is a perfect transition to the politics of the show. Is
Yeah.
that then one it eliminates the economics, the economic reality of the Ruhrgebiet, in that then. They do pick a lot of areas. By the way, don't look into how the voting records of some of these areas are with the AFD because they're not good.
Yeah.
And I think that could also like this idea that it kind of goes into the sense of that then like Germany, while like somewhat behind in some regards of like like
Same-sex marriage.
same-sex marriage and stuff like that. Like they
Very late to the game on that one.
well. Yeah, but that's because of Catholicism in the Ireland case. But they
Wait,
don't.
we beat Germany. I was
Oh.
talking about Germany.
Yeah.
Germany is
Oh.
very late to the game.
Yeah.
yeah.
Johnny was
Yes.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah.
that was
true,
the
true.
same.
Yeah.
They mentioned it was the perfect Angela Merkel event. She introduced it knowing it would pass and voted against it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
she abstained.
Like
Oh my god.
she-
the response
Yeah.
on the ground in Ireland when Germany legalized gay marriage was, I thought they did already.
Yeah,
It was
everyone
a
thought
lot of,
Oh.
like-
Yeah, everyone. America beat Germany.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was here when it happened.
But
Yeah.
that's the like I think it's the perfect example of them like
I came from Latvia when it happened, actually.
yeah.
Yeah, they had a lot of...
Volkerbeck letting off those like confetti poppers.
Yeah,
on the,
the-
on
What
the-
were they like? Were they all like
Rainbow.
color of like the Israeli flag or what? Like, were they?
They might have been.
no, they weren't. No, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. So in the sense that then like the economics of the show is like barren as well. Of that then it does not acknowledge where it is in this country,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is like I think that
I think the US version does it quite well, actually.
The
Yeah.
US version is always like, they haven't done a season in like Detroit, but if they ever did, they would acknowledge that things were bad, but then they would focus on stuff being like, it's getting better.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Whereas
like
Germany doesn't
neoliberal
want to like
answers.
talk
Yeah.
about it at all.
Yeah.
Like, things
But-
are fine and are
And
still
weirdly,
fine.
some of the things are getting worse. Like
Oh yeah.
the person who
I say a lot of things in
there was
Detroit are
one
also
person
actually getting
who
worse.
was there was one person who was like. It was a whole thing of like, are you ready to move out of your parents' house and have your own apartment? And I was thinking, okay, so Germany was a country that always had really low rental prices,
Yeah.
and so the idea that you would just have some place you would just move out of your parents' house whenever you wanted, get an apartment was sowieso.
Yeah.
And this now, the Zoomers now, this is the first generation
Yeah.
where a lot of them are like, oh shit, I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
can't just get an apartment and
Well,
move to the
yeah,
city.
like- I added that to the notes of, quote, he's 22 and still lives at home. Me stares Irishly.
Yes.
Yeah. But the other type of politics that are incredibly interesting, I think, as well, is its attitude towards queerness. And
Yes.
I think that, you know,
Topic I know all about. Everyone stand
exactly.
back.
We have an expert, Kieran.
So,
Kieran.
No. So we didn't just invite Ben on because he's gay. Like that would
he's smart.
yes. Because you've been doing a podcast.
Do you want me to perform historian for you for a minute?
Exactly. No, not in the same. It's not performing
Historical
histor-
labor.
But there is like
I'm sick of doing all of this historical labor.
yes,
unpaid.
exactly. The thing that like you pointed out to me before this show even came about, which then was always in the back of my head, is that how Germany deals with queerness because its historical backdrop is not of that of the U.S. and U.K. And
The Nazis change a lot of historical backdrop issues.
well, yeah,
Well, that too,
like-
but so I'll do my rant. So
Yeah.
basically, the term queer. So, what happens in the story that people who think about queerness and know about queerness in an Anglophone context? The story that people who think about queerness and know about queerness in an Anglophone context are familiar with is that there's a moment in the 1980s when, in the kind of crucible of both the AIDS pandemic and the active state inaction to that pandemic, there is a moment when all of these different kinds of people, namely gay men and lesbians and trans folks, come together because we are all going to die. And so we have to, like, all of whatever differences we had during the sort of separatist politics of gay liberation, now we are going to come together. And so this identity and this concept of queer and the word queer gets forged on the streets, reclaimed as from a slur, and then sort of forged together on the streets during the kind of act up politics of the fight against AIDS. And what's really interesting about Germany is that here that never happened. Here, under Helmut Schmidt and then even under the CDU, fairly quickly, obviously not quickly enough from an activist perspective, but very quickly from a comparative perspective, the state started to fund this network of AIDS-Hilfen. Again, very generously from a comparative perspective, not at all generously enough from an activist perspective.
Sure.
And so what happened was that in Germany, gay men ended up allying with the state a lot earlier, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
than they did in the Anglophone world. And this reunification and this kind of like, now it's the end of liberation politics and we're doing this other thing, that never happened. And so you have people here who are still really committed to, older people here who are really still committed to fights between and distinctions between gay politics and lesbian politics, for example, that from an Anglophone context make no sense. You just don't encounter it anymore.
Sure.
And this is also true in the Netherlands. This is true in a few countries. Germany is not the only place where this is true. But what this means is that when the word queer comes to Germany, it's as an import, and it's as a word that is... Queer has come to mean, in a lot of Anglophone contexts, this kind of like denatured sort of just group term, so you don't have to say something awful like gender and sexuality minorities,
Right.
or LGBTQIA2+, or some, like it's easier. But that's all it's ever meant here. And so it's interesting in that sense to think about what like the difference between queer politics here and queer politics in the Anglophone world. And then that thing that I mentioned of that alliance between gay men and the state, and that has led to a lot of really fascinating. Thankfully, it seems like the moment has kind of passed, which is good. But there was a moment a few years ago when there was a real attempt to kind of generate a lesbian and gay politics of reaction, especially against migrants.
Sure.
The idea being that emancipation is finished. We did it, and now dirty brown people are coming to threaten our emancipation.
Yeah, France is all about that.
France is all about that.
yeah,
The Netherlands
France
are the
is big
pioneers,
time.
right? So Pim
Yeah.
Fortuyn, who's the sort of godfather of the European New Right,
Yeah.
not only is he gay, he was so gay that during that election campaign that he almost won and then he was assassinated, he was literally
Oh, yeah, I remember
doing
that.
interviews on TV, rhapsodizing about the taste of cum. And like talking about going to into dark rooms, which is fucking crazy. That was 20 years ago. Even now, that would be like, what? But no, he was really like, very. But that was part of it. That was part of the appeal
The
because
hit was 1998. I was just
The cum tasted different back then.
It's the Netherlands. They had like shows like Spoken and Sluken and shit like that, which is about like sex and taking drugs.
Yeah. Like it's
Experiencing
yeah.
like different sex.
right. So okay. So obviously the extremeness of it is the Netherlands thing. But there's this. There was a real kind of attempt to push it here, and it did find a certain kind of audience. I mean, I remember I live in Schöneberg. You're allowed to say, of course.
yeah, that was good.
I don't know. Should have
way.
been stereotypes.
I'm wearing these sneakers, and say of
Says
course.
it all, yeah.
And I was in a sort of local gay bar a while ago, and talking to.
My only stereotype of Schöneberg is like, you're Bavarian?
Damn, Kieran.
Yeah, I don't know if every Bavarian was gay.
talking to ever since King Ludwig II.
Yes.
But I was talking to the sort of kindly older bar man. And he was like, yeah, it's just this used to be our neighborhood, and now that Romania just shows up and Romania shows up with all of its problems on a dump truck and dumps it in
Whoa.
front of the door of my building.
Wow.
And I was
I
like,
bet that never happened.
That sounds like a lie. That
don't
made
I
up
think the
story.
problem is gentrification?
Yeah.
And he was
Yeah.
like, no, it's the Romanians.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, so this is like, you actually genuinely do see it. And the way that like, there was one of the people who was kind of leading this grouping was this Politunte, like political drag queen named Patsy Lamorla-Love, who wrote a book called Beißreflexe about how, cancel culture and whatever, evil immigrants and blah, blah, blah. But Patsy had for a while an initiative in Neukölln called an initiative in Neukölln that was all about like it's time to be honest about the fact that gangs of Muslim men are threatening
Why is it
queers and
always
Jews
Neukölln?
and blah blah blah. Like it was really a push for this, and I think the thing that finally killed them was that they were out, a group of people from this sort of what we used to call the Queer Front, were out marketing a book, the subtitle of which was Gegen migrantische Weinerlichkeit, against immigrant whininess, and then Hanau happened.
Oh.
And I don't know why I'm laughing, because it's not to be laughed at. It's a fucking tragedy. But I think the mood really shifted, and people began to really get a sense of how serious this problem was.
Yeah.
But anyway, so and just to be clear, nothing about this show is to that. Like nothing about this show is that like sort of queer front or that sort of right push. But I think it is interesting to put this in that kind of historical context and to think about what these words mean in the German context versus what they mean in other places. And
I
how
think though that in the sense of that, I don't mean to interrupt, but I think the thing that then's very interesting is that then, even without knowing the entire history of like queerness in Germany, there is very much this sense that then it's like it's just strictly, it is like Germany is weirdly like the most pure neoliberal country, and where that then let me finish. Yulia's looking at me weird because like they're doing their neoliberalism in a very weird sense, so that then it's like, well, we can like export it out to other countries. Our politics at home are fine, end of history, baby. Germany, like we're living it, like history hasn't caught up to Germany since the fall of the wall, but they gloss over that bit of like whatever, like Die Wende, whatever, the East silly. Like Germany's really good at deflecting its issues on anyone else but itself, and this show is just the purest of like queerness can cure your vibes and this and that without having like, at least the US show will like be like self-reflective and have like a little bit of like, hey, it's hard to be gay or hard to be queer and this and that and that. There's like the one episode with the football coach, and that's it. Everything else is simply that then it's a Band-Aid over neoliberalism.
And nothing acknowledges, again, I mean, maybe the one thing where what I was just talking about does really apply is that nowhere in the show is it acknowledged that emancipation is not finished.
Yeah.
And that queer liberation has not been accomplished.
And the U.S. show does actually acknowledge that. They acknowledge
all the
the sense
time.
by going
They'll
to...
be like, There'll be like trans folks and people who are like really not. Yeah, people who are trans folks in Texas, where right now Texas is literally trying to accuse parents who are affirming their kids' gender of being child abusers.
I hate to go on this point again, but I feel like that also would be solved if you just tied each season to a location, because then you do have to do the Saxon season where it's like, let's talk about how there's some parts of this country that are problematic about being gay.
Or NFA that's also problematic about.
Probably too, yeah, exactly. But like
Hague Beat's not like, that's the thing I found that was just so amazing about it, is that then you have a very like you're finding an area of Germany that then's like, one, economically just shit, and two, that then's like also, depending on what parts that then that you're in, are pretty like, they're not like secluded or like to themselves, but they're like just enough like so German that they don't need to interact with like the outside world outside of being German, you know?
And the thing to me that's really actually dangerous about it then is if you're going into these economically disadvantaged areas and what you're portraying is that like, to be queer is to have an enormous amount of resources and also global media all on your side.
Damn,
this gets like very dark very quickly.
Oh no, the Germans are gonna make this show as this show is anti-Semitic somehow now too. Like not at the show itself, but the conspiracies are gonna the meta around
no, but
the show.
No, but these things do go together, right? Like the whole one of the big narratives of the anti-trans backlash, the sort of really awful, murderous, genuinely genocidal global anti-trans backlash that kind of is coming out of the UK and the US mostly right now, and that people are definitely trying to beach those things on the shores of Germany. That's what Reichelt was trying to do with the fucking mouse. Right.
One of the big
fucking mouse. The mouse is great, okay?
One of the big
You may have thought that thing we started the episode with was nonsense, but no, it's relevant.
Yeah.
One of the big points that they're always making is that like this is the global media parentheses are coming to transgender your children, and like to portray queerness as the kind of force of money. And then backward, like there's actually a potentially very dark place that can go.
Oh, Germany would never. There's no conspiracy going
traditionally,
around Germany
as we have all learned from studying the 1920s in Germany, queer advances in Germany are always permanent.
Yeah,
yes,
never roll back.
Never ever roll back. Queer Eye Germany is here to make sure that stays forever and that there's no rollback ever. Not that there was ever again, like we said to begin with.
No stormtroopers ever burned the entire library of the Institut für Sexualwissenschaft on Bibelplatz.
Never, ever. I don't know. I mean, you're just
great
talking nonsense here.
And then the CDU's first government after the Second World War certainly didn't take all of the gay men who had been in the concentration camps and put them back in jail because their time in the concentration camp wasn't official jail, so they had to do their sentence again.
Oh my god!
An actual thing that Konrad Adenauer did.
Know that,
God.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
We live in the good Germany.
It's amazing how it all kind of loops back around, because one of the myths that persists amongst like the anti-trans people is that like trans people just appeared. It's like, no, there was actually a lot of documented evidence about it that was, let me just look up these records from the 30s in Germany. Oh, it's all gone. It's all gone.
No, but I mean, even we have, it's not all gone. I mean, it is like a lot of it was gone, but like we have like a lot of stories of people. We have magazines. We have at Schwules Museum, where I'm on the board in Berlin, we have like all of these like gay and lesbian and trans magazines from the 1930s. Like it's all there. It's all absolutely there.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. So I think this is a good place to end.
Was it?
I'm
sad.
I know. I mean, our show's sad. It's fine. Europe's bad. Whatever. That's always the mantra of the show. But Ben over here has a lot going on coming up. I mean, we mentioned Bad Gays earlier, which also...
so the entire reason why I agreed to sit through all of this is so that I could say this right now.
Exactly.
Which is that Bad Gays, which is a podcast about evil and complicated queers in history, has a book coming out on May 31st in the UK and the US. And you can pre-order that book by going to badgayspod.com/book. That is badgayspod.com/book.
We will have it listed also in the description.
We are also going to have a Berlin event sometime in July to sell books. And so if you would like to come and see me and my co-author and collaborator, Hugh Lemmy, and have copies of our book thrown at your face, please do that and come and we will throw books at you.
Yeah, you're going to get hate crimed for once.
Yeah. And also, if you have not checked out Ben's podcast, we very highly recommend that.
Yes.
And we will see you guys then all on the bonus episode. This is regular feed, right? Yeah. All right. Then we'll see you guys on the bonus episode. And take care and have a lovely week. And if you don't buy Ben's book, that's homophobia. Sorry.
No, it's actually genuinely homophobic.
Yeah, you get canceled.
I think I was joking with friends that I was the last bearded cisgendered male American leftist in Berlin who was not a guest on your show, and that's why, and that's what was homophobic.
Exactly.
So if you don't buy my book, it's also homophobic.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
I'm not going to talk out of school here, but all of our guests wish they had
homophobes.
Ben's beard.
oh no, I thought you were saying all of our guests are homophobes.
Oh yeah, that also.
Well, it's funny because I just had David do my beard trim, so she did a great job. No, I did not.
Oh, damn.
So cool.
Money
I have a
making money
wonderful
moves
barber
over
named
here.
Lloyd, but
Well,
Where are you off to this afternoon to talk shit about your show?
oh my god,
yeah. We'll see.
but not
y'all.
about you, Ion.
Yes.
We will see
love you.
y'all next week then, and take care.
Ciao.
Bye.